That's where you want to be going actually. Yapao is super legit. Bird Rock is good, but it's not consistent enough for me to be properly endorsing it. We got a good barista today. And they have a new single origin. Okay, we're doing slab practice at the wall, aka Alice Palace, aka the team class 5 training dungeon. This is the new space that that guy made. Their whole team is just ridiculously good at slab because of everything that Al sets and coaches. So we're gonna go over like 5-ish tips about slab climbing and just get a bunch of volume in on these super technical slab boulders. We also have this jib slab wall to play around on and a full slab spray wall, no hand slab spray wall upstairs. So we'll end with some made up problems there. Come on Al, oh, why slab?
Highly used in competitive route setting right now.
Yeah.
And you can get good at it fairly quickly if you practice the right style. It's not just a good way to differentiate yourself, but it's a really easy way to get really far behind. It used to be that you could like differentiate yourself, but now it's like mandatory, and if you're not good on slab, you're gonna fall behind. That's like a pretty negative way to say it, but
yeah,
it's probably true.
It's most definitely the truth.
All of these boulders, Al and another really cool coach and setter, Mark, put up for a slab clinic that actually helped coach last weekend, and now we've kind of tweaked them up a little bit, and we're coming back to just learn some more moves and share some slab techniques with you. That's why there's a lot of extra jibs and stuff on these, because we're just playing around with different positions and everything. So a lot of them will kind of make up like a limits on and fine tune what we're trying to do. Even though this is overhanging, all of these are set to climb basically like slabs, and you can take away kind of the same lessons.
Yeah.
First tip is making space. So you've heard me talk about like kind of sticking your butt out so you can throw it up into the wall. In this context, it's more about making space with your chest and like making space by letting go of your arm so you're farther out from the wall so you can pull in and get into that end position. And this one's really tricky because this is right where your chest wants to be, so you have to like read the end position really well and get down and around this so you can slot your chest in like there.
So you kind of want to do like out with the chest.
And then squeeze tight. Much closer. Ah, there, bro. Whoa. What'd you learn?
Didn't go far enough around, and my like finger activation is not quite warm yet. That's why you gotta warm up the like girth.
Yeah, the latch. Like a wall. Ah, there, bro.
Oi! So I think the other really important thing to warm up, which most people neglect, especially in boulder warm-ups, I think like most people check boxes like, physically can I cramp? And I think all that stuff is really important to not get injured. But in order to perform well, I feel like your timing has to be really, really good. It's part of visualization and like actually, oh, this is what I think I'm doing. And when you get on it, it's actually what it feels like. That's really important for that to sync up.
Come on, Marco. All right, tip 3, visualization. This is probably one of my top tips in any video. It is always like close your eyes and like think about the movement that your whole body is gonna take and what it's gonna feel like to engage on both your hands and where your feet are gonna be.
Come on, Ross. Come on. Nice. Nice, dude. It's so...
Okay, that time I like sunk down more and kind of was able to move my chest to the right, so I didn't have to go out and like around the volume as much. I could just kind of pop straight up. And Al said it's like pretty much always about just making time over the foot. So that's the fourth tip. I'll keep highlighting these tips throughout the rest of the climb. So even though we're moving through them fast, there's a lot of different ways that these same 4 or 5 tips will show up on different positioning, timing, visualization, making time over the foot. Wait, what was the first one? Was
I'd say climb the positions.
Yeah.
That's like, from a visualization standpoint, those two go hand in hand.
yes. What do you mean by climb the positions?
I think like I always use an example of something like this. If I start on this side
Yeah.
is a good position, and we can imagine that this side is a good position,
Yeah.
and then the transition from one position to the other, that's like what beta is for me. Like
Okay.
not really hands, because I think they miss a lot. And like the position in the middle, the transition between those two is like really unstable. And so if you know that the next position is good, then you're willing to put yourself through that discomfort of like transitioning maybe from like this side of the wall to this side of the wall.
Okay, so this next one, super classic skate move. Start, foot, pretty jug finish. Actually, I'll go to this one because it's a harder variation. And this is a good one to highlight climbing the position and also making time over the foot. Okay, I just did it 3 different ways, but all 3 ways rely on kind of the 2 key concepts I mentioned of getting time or making time over the foot. So this thing is bad. You can't really stand on it as just alone, but if you throw yourself into the wall and make time over this, then you can continue off of it still with your chest and body weight like going into the wall. Same with this foot, like you need to hit this final position, like leaning in, so you obviously don't fall out from the wall. And then the other one that I was saying is climbing that position. So if you look at this climb, jug, good foot, that's a great position. Then you have some question marks. Like I said, you can't really stand on this one alone or that one, but you have this hold, so you can see, okay, with that and that's a pretty good position. So then you work backwards and can kind of have a better idea of how you're gonna move through that. And that's what you visualize, is how do I get from the first position to the second position. And as you get better at sequencing and everything, you'll kind of unlock different ways to move between positions. I saw this and realized like the starting position was good enough where I could generate and not have to like match feet. So that third way I did it was definitely the hardest for me, where I went left, right, left again. It's kind of unnecessary. Something I think that's important to highlight that helps you to read positions is pulling with the direction of the hold. So this hold, not very good, but it's the best when you're pulling like that. Like that's a pretty easy concept to understand. Like the hold's gonna be best when you're pulling like straight down on the face of it. And same goes for this one. Like when we flip to it, you wanna be pulling kind of up and to the right. So with those 2 constraints, that helps you understand where your hips and body want to be. Like they wanna be kind of right in between those 2. So you can pull with the holds in that final position. So if we take that same concept back to this one, that hold is really bad. And if you're pulling down on it, like straight down, it's gonna be terrible. But if you're pulling here to the right with the direction of the hold, then it's gonna be a lot better. Like I could generate a lot more from the starting position and just throw my momentum to the left more, but it's actually not gonna be helpful. So there's a fine balance between generating too much and too little for pretty much every move. Yeah, just understanding what angle is gonna like make the holds the best will help you to kind of narrow in on the position you want to be in. There's a lot of words, but rewind it and watch it again if it doesn't make sense. All right, so Marco's gonna do it now that he has all the tools. Woo! That was clean. Come on. Let's go. That precision is online.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Ross.
Start positions are really good opportunities for us to talk about this because you did a lot of climbing just to get established.
Oh my God, so hard.
We had some smart people during the clinic that read the position.
How does that make you feel, Marco?
I'm not saying that you're not good smart.
I
saying
tried
that
to get the right foot up.
well, but they also just like ran into this
Wow.
and then started that way.
How does that make you feel?
Like I got work to do.
For slab, if you can hold a position, you could probably get into it fast or slowly. But fast just takes a lot of precision, a lot of timing. But you get rewarded for it a lot of times because it takes a lot less energy. You have to do a lot less climbing. Maybe you can cut the two versions of, and one of them feels much more risky, but gets you into the move right before the move in like 2 seconds with pretty minimal effort.
Oh my God, that is so much easier.
We haven't started the boulder yet.
Wait, what just happened, bro?
It's called off because he didn't step.
He thought he was sick, too.
Okay, we're moving on to this puzzle of a boulder. Starts there, and there, and there. That one's off, that one's off, that thing's off, that one's off, and that one's off.
All the holes are off.
Just volumes. Actually, just volumes plus a foot and the start hand.
Creating space here. Creating space. Reset breath. Nice, Ross, come on.
Whoa. Sick. That last one was super spicy. Moving through the areas of discomfort to the final positions, like that's a great example of that where like I can reach this without doing anything with my legs, but if I had done that without jumping my foot, I'd be here and my foot would be really close in and I'd barn door. So I'm actually like exaggerating the movement quite a bit so I can have enough generation to like move my right foot over so I can get to this in position with my right hand up and my right leg out.
Right leg
So I
is
can-
out here.
So I can pull on this hole where it's good. You know, like it's facing to the left, so I want to have my right foot out there so I can stay really far to the left of it rather than have my right foot right underneath me and be like here and then I'm like pulling down as opposed to just making it a jug.
So what you're saying is finding positions means make the holds good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with this, like this one, you can't pull down like this. So I had to turn my elbow all the way up to here
And stand.
so I could pull into it. Slopers in particular, guys, like this is so much better when you're hanging below it. And that's why like to generate, I stayed below it until the last second and then I pulled up. Because right, like as you pull higher on the slopers, your hand starts to pull at a worse angle on it and you're just gonna slide off. Okay, tip 5 or 6 or whatever we're on is just mantling. And this is a masterclass boulder for mantling. This whole boulder is just one start position. You just have to get 2 points here, 1 point there, 1 point there.
Okay.
I'll give you a espresso for the flash. Let's go, Marco. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on, Marco. Oh.
Oh, I rushed it.
Even though this is just seemingly like a one move boulder, you can still read the positions. So maybe heel here, hands there, and then for the finish, you can't really pull down on this. So in my mind, you have to be over to the left side of this hold, and maybe you can like press off of it to get up and over this foot. And you could also press on this one like that to get a bit more leftward. This foot is scary too. Come on, Marco. Come on, Marco. Oh! Needs more left.
The goal would probably be to get pistol squatted off of the left foot, right?
Yeah.
All the way stood up.
Okay, this is a good little warm up for mantling like this and rocking over the foot. You just put your feet, you get up against the wall. You can kind of choose how far away you put your foot. And then you're here, and you're just trying to bring this foot all the way up, and then stay close to the wall like that. And you can bring your feet closer, or your hands closer together, and that makes it a little harder to get this leg all the way up. Ah. Boom. You can also just do some froggy stretches like this. That's another good one.
Nice. Come on, Ross. Nice, dude. It ain't over.
My right foot was pushing really hard into the wall. And for me, that helps to counteract like leaning out. Like it helps keep some tension and like your core engaged and everything. But that actually felt better with the foot closer in, which makes sense because it's easier to rock over it if it's closer in. It just makes it harder to use that thing to press. So there's trade-offs with everything. Side note for standing on bad feet, like everyone kind of has a different way they prefer to stand on bad feet, and that depends a lot on your shoes and how you've like learned to use your toes and how strong your toes are. So for me, the most useful thing is to just stand on a lot of bad feet. And there, set this little foot spray wall, and you can just stand on all the feet and notice what angle or like orientation feels best and how to match feet. For matching feet, I generally use one of two different methods. One is like you place your foot on top and then just pop it out like this. And the other one is more of a slow, gradual like transition where you're rolling one foot out as you slot the other one in, and that's a bit more controlled. But if the foot's really tiny and you don't have space to do that, then you gotta go with method one, which is way scarier. But if you practice it a lot, it's really consistent. They're so bad. I don't even know if I can match any of these, to be honest. This one I can match. But without hands, it's pretty technical. All right, this was like the fast way is just like that. And the slow way is more. These holds are so much worse than they look on camera.
Right for them?
All right, there's the side profile of these holds. And then this nasty little jib. And this thing,
It's pretty nice.
it's pretty nice as well.
I think something that's cool is like, all these holds are upside down, but he's making you climb up them. So that's a pretty unique way of setting.
I use my thumbs so much on this one, just same on that one. And this one. Wow. Super good, Marco. Come on. Oh!
I should have pointed my foot into the wall.
Same thing as tip number 6 or 4 or 5, or I'm losing track of the tip numbers. How I was saying you want to pull with the same direction as like of the hold goes for feet as well. You want to push directionally down into this thing. So he's trying to stand straight above this. So you want your foot flop down like this so it has the most surface area and it's pushing in to the surface of the hold, rather than like here it's gonna like flop and like twist and articulate all wonky. I've been playing around with using my heel just because it feels easier to like roll over rounded feet like this, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, when you're duck footing, like using the whole inside of your foot, yes, your foot is pointed out into the hold in terms of like what we're saying you shouldn't do, but then you're using the duck foot to put pressure straight down into the hold, which is using the same mechanic as we're talking about. Teach them about the duck foot, bro.
People aren't ready for the duck foot yet.
Not too many secrets, but just a few, dude.
I've said too much already.
Honestly.
Book a private with me if you're interested. New website just went up, rossfulkersоnclimbing.com. You can book some private lessons or group sessions, because I think it's so valuable to be able to climb with your friends, and you learn a lot more when you're climbing with people kind of around your same level. So if you get like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of your homies together, you can do like a 2 or 3 hour session with me, and then just have a big old group session, learn some things like the duck foot.
Bro. Creep it. Duck foot, duck foot. Pressure straight down into the middle. Bro.
Yoo-hoo-hoo. Day flash. That's taken me like 10 attempts to do every day. I've only tried it for 2 days, but feeling better. That's why you like repeat projects like this a lot. That'll be tip number 47 or whatever we're on, is just repeating insecure moves, especially on slab, because it's so easy to repeat and like not super physically taxing. You can just get a lot of volume in on limit moves, and having that confidence helps so much. I'll do this like 5 more times right now because it's like one of the harder slabs I've done. And then in a competition or whatever, you turn around and like, oh, that's not as hard as the slabs I was doing at the wall. So I'll just do it first try.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Why not? This is the coaching platform up here. The full 180 perspective. This space is actually so much bigger than it looks on camera. Let's go, Marco.
Hi.
Oh no. Come on. Yeah.
Oh! My knee was too far over my foot.
But you trusted the foot, that's why it slipped. If your feet aren't slipping, you're being a quack. But kind of, like, if your feet aren't slipping, then you should still be on the wall. All right, I'm experimenting with some women's squamas for this jib slab. So, normally I'm in women's theories, but this time we're switching it up just for the sake of curiosity.
But you shouldn't order them in between 40 and a half and 41 and a half, because I need those sizes.
Yeah. Wasn't trusting the feet. Making space for your foot to match the foot I fell off of. I kind of like sloppily placed my foot there to begin with. Like this time, I'm gonna put my right foot on the far right side of that hold. So I have space to transition it out and slot my other foot, my left foot in. It felt like it was gonna slip and I like didn't commit to it, but I should have just let it slip. Or maybe I just would have done the boulder. Ending on the volume spray wall. Ultimate challenge is just left to right, no hands. So lucky to have access to something like this where you can just make up an infinite number of little problems, no hand problems, and really get an idea for what you can stick to, because what you can stick to is so much worse than you initially think. Nice. Oh, okay. I made a little reel on my Instagram highlighting some of these tips, so go watch that if you haven't already. But one thing I was saying is transitioning quickly fully onto like the sole of your foot so you have a lot of surface area helps a lot. And same thing goes for like moving down onto feet. You want to one fluid motion move onto your foot. So that looks like this. Okay, I'm moving from here initially all the way to there in one fluid motion. Another really good tip that I was saying is a lot of times on slab, you can't make space from the wall to generate into the wall. So instead of like using your hips and chest to throw yourself in the wall, you can just use your hands like this. Something like that. Stand on the outside of volumes. It just makes more space to lean into the wall. Try to get your foot out on the corner of it rather than really close to the wall. Same as like these warm-up ones. Why it's harder with your foot here. That's why you want to stand farther out with your foot. Another thing I like to do, or just to practice standing on feet, is pick a foot and then just like walk around on it a bunch. So I'm gonna do this one and just see where you can walk on it and how comfortable you can feel. There you go.
Great sesh.
It's not a proper day of training if you don't do a little power on the spray wall. I'll just set this thing, it's so legit. The spray wall is so fun. It's hard, like maybe one of the hardest I've been on.